Hello, my name is Dr. David Arthur Sampson. I'm a research scientist and a senior sustainability scientist for the Global Institute of Sustainability. I work here in the Decision Center for Desert City, here at ASU. So we created WaterSim as a tool to help folks understand water management in the Phoenix metro area. And we use it for education, research, and outreach. So the whole idea with WaterSim was to help people understand that water is complex, water management is complex, that there are different viewpoints on what sustainability is, and that people have to come to trade-offs with how to manage the water.
So I'm Liz Marquez. I'm Program Manager for Decision Center for Desert City. We're a unit of the Julianne Wrigley Global Institute of Sustainability. Our funding comes from the National Science Foundation, and it has since about 2005. They've invested about $18 million in our program. So we use our outreach program as a way to bring people together. We're a neutral convener, so we're not imposing our opinions upon people, but rather trying to bring them together so they can listen to each other. We have something called a water climate briefing, and we'll have a panel of experts along with an ASU, like ASU researchers, we always include them. And then maybe the director of Arizona Department of Water Resources will come in, and they'll talk about the drought contingency plan. So
as an outreach tool, whenever visiting scholars or folks come through the community through ASU, we bring them into the Decision Theater here, which is our sister institute, where it's a 270-degree surround sound environment, 7 large monitors, where we can bring them all up on the screen and then demonstrate to visiting scholars and folks and dignitaries, whoever might be coming through here, water management here in the metro area. As an education tool, we have a number of curricula for the model. We have different versions of the model aimed at different audiences, and we've developed several different curriculum for those models. And right now we have a version of the model touring the United States. It's in 4 other states right now, touring in rural communities. It's a state model to help people understand where their water sources are and how they're using their water and how they might simply manage their water, to get an idea of what water management is about. We have a model that's touring Arizona right now called WaterSim Arizona, and that model is divided into 5 regions to make it a little bit more regional specific. It too is touring in rural communities throughout the state, and we then have created, runs in a kiosk, iPad, and it sets up with the Smithsonian exhibit. So it's part of the Smithsonian exhibit, the Waterways exhibit, and it just tours as that exhibit tours. We have a version then for the teachers, and the interface looks a little bit different. And we developed a curriculum for that, and we bring in teachers, or we go to them and we teach them how to use the model, give them the curriculum, and then they implement it in their classrooms. We have the user interface to it where anyone, anywhere can access the model via the web through a browser. So no longer are we tied, 1, to the Decision Theater, 2, teachers can bring it into their classrooms. They have PCs, and they can bring it, as long as they have Wi-Fi, they can bring it into the classrooms.
My name is Emily Grunspan. I'm the Education and Outreach Coordinator for Decision Center for Desert City. Originally, the whole outreach education aspect of WaterSim probably, I think, started maybe 5 or 6 years ago. We're finding that WaterSim Phoenix, it was used for research, as I mentioned, but there was this opportunity to bring this into local classrooms and use it as a teaching tool, that teachers could use with their students. And so there was a curriculum developed students take on the role of a stakeholder in this curriculum, whether it's a farmer or a water manager or an environmentalist, and they are tasked with making policy choices on how water should be used in their community, and they're seeing this projected out 50 years from now. What impacts do the choices we make today have 50 years from now?
The DCP isn't quite yet set in stone, but we will. The plan right now is to incorporate the outputs from the lower basin DCP into the modeling. I think we're going to continue to have an impact on local water leaders in terms of the types of things that they might be thinking about in terms of our future water supplies and what sustainability is and how we can all be more sustainable and the trade-offs that are going to happen for us to be a sustainable community here in the arid Southwest.